Jack.
Thank you so much, H. Before we do anything, I'd like to just say H is here by somewhat of a miracle. Over the last 18 months, I think, he has suffered from pancreatic cancer and has survived, one of the 3%. It's lovely to see you here, H.
Yo!
Thank you so much. Great to see you. Was it really 55 years ago, nearly 55 years ago, that we opened the batting for the school, first 11, those halcyon days when the summers were always sunny and warm, and the Saffron's track seemed to be ever batting friendly. And the Priory Meadow in Hastings posed the threat of Tony Buss. I have a team photo and indeed my cricket colours here. Cricket colours here, which I wear with pride. In 1999, I welcomed the Lady Mayor to our centenary dinner of the foundation of Eastbourne Grammar School. Tonight it is my great pleasure to open the batting again on this centenary of the Old Grammarians Association. I am particularly delighted to welcome our ladies, who are, to my knowledge, attending a formal function of the association for the first time. Thank you so much for your support tonight and adding glamour to our proceedings. Our connection, if that's the right word, no, the right word is mingling, with Eastbourne High School has always been there, and indeed many old grammarians are married to high school girls. But for the first time tonight we welcome, I think, 3 members of the High School Old Girls Society, led by Ms. Phipps. Thank you for being an advance party for what I can hope can be closer ties with that association. I have welcomed in the past one lady, and that was Anne Easter, our wonderful school secretary, and I made her an honorary old grammarian. However, I did feel uneasy and slightly impertinent by calling her Anne, for as we all know, her name was Miss. Another person tonight is the attendance of former students of the Sixth Form College and Sussex Down, I can't pronounce this word, alumni. Very posh. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the playwright John Osborne wrote that school associations such as ours look forward to the past. How wrong he was, for we are here tonight because of the vision and enthusiasm nearly 20 years ago of one George Dixon as secretary and the late Bill Honey as president, and a small committee who reawakened the association from its moribund state. Bill was an inspirational leader, and it is my pleasure to warmly welcome his widow Maureen here tonight. She has with her, I believe, 3 beneficiaries of this Blackburn Vale Memorial Trust. Now, I didn't know a great deal about it, even as president in the past, but tonight we have on our table a whole précis of what goes on with the Blackburn Vale Memorial Trust. Anyway, over the years we have been supported this trust through David Allen, the late David Allen, my dear friend, as trustee, and now James Hazelden has undertaken that duty. We had close ties with it, and long may it continue. It's helped many students in the past. With George as secretary until his very untimely death in 2000, the organisation had grown to some 500 members, with 130 attending our annual luncheon, with Tim Firth giving his Treasurer's report as the top highlight of the occasion, the fear of all the masters present. Peter Quanston, already then older than George, took over the secretaryship, and with a strong committee of, sounds like old Uncle Tom Copley, doesn't it, of, what have we got here? Ken Dobell, Brian Peck, Nick Funnell, Paul Penrose and David Breach, and David Allen. They steadily increased the membership to over 600, not forgetting one Dave Cooper, who brought both enthusiasm and more especially IT skills to the organisation, and attracted, I recall, a much younger and somewhat noisy element to our annual. It is with great pleasure I welcome the young contingent, the noisy contingent tonight. You haven't let me down, chaps, well done. But what it did was bring to hand to us olds the ethos of fun and fellowship, which is what this organisation is all about. On Peter's death and my hard sack in 2003, a chap called Fred Reeve was coerced to act as secretary with his assistant James Hazelden and Dennis Minns as president, together with his committee, now I hasten to add, called the Executive Committee. They brought the association into the 21st century in every way, bringing a new enthusiasm, commitment, and indeed newsletter, and brokering a new relationship with the high school and the sixth form and Park College. Furthermore, the membership is now nearly 700. Not too bad for a school which closed nearly 40 years ago. And it's a real pleasure to welcome Dennis's widow here, Rowena, here tonight. I know how much he wanted to make this speech tonight. Fred, without you and your committee, tonight would not have taken place. What superb organisation and tremendous amount of work, a great venue and meal. When I was last president, I instituted the giving of a school badge as colours for exceptional achievement. It is high time that tradition was resumed. Fred Reeve, I award you the colours to you with our grateful thanks. You are a superb supporter and ambassador for the association, travelling from the States for our annual weekends, often winning my George Dixon Prize for distant travel. And I think tonight you do the same thing. You have won it again, damn it. A real schoolboy hero, head boy, sportsman, academic, and atomic submariner. What else can he? Boy's own paper stuff, isn't it, really? Saturday lunches were always, after the Saturday lunches, there were always rumours from the Eastbourne Rugby Club that the harvest had been drunk dry. It is really great to see you again. We are fortunate indeed to have our guest speaker, Mike Laidler, OBE, a very successful Old diplomat and ambassador. I won't steal his thunder. More of him later, but Mike, very, very warm welcome. All the way from Denmark, I hope, to where he lives.
Yo.
We were going to welcome Charles Eel, who at the age of 93 is our oldest member, and may I say, read the lesson with great gusto at our recent memorial service. However, he is poorly today, and we wish him well. Our youngest member, however, is here. And we welcome the inheritor of all the old grammarians' funds, Nick Barton. I said Nick Barton. Is he here? Yes. Oh, welcome, Nick, anyway. Nice to meet you. We have a very strong ecclesiastical contingent here. All I note sharing the same table: David Grucci, Reverend Tony Windross, Canon Peter Shepherd and Canon Geoffrey Balcombe, who, I must say, so ably led our memorial service. I'm sure the recent synod, after the recent synod, you have much to talk about. We would be nowhere without our masters, those heroes of the chalk face, or whiteboard, or is it the iPad now? Well, there's probably a tablet, isn't it? We welcome Mike Morley, who is still, despite being enjoying not the best of health, is still involved very, very heavily in local drama and the U3A. I suspect he agrees with D.H. Lawrence when he wrote, "Last night I dreamed I was teaching again. That is the only dream that afflicts my sturdy conscience." Welcome to Walter Tilliard, my dear friend. Walter, lovely to see you. You have been a tremendous supporter of the association. It's lovely to see you here, despite your back and shoulder and everything giving you trouble. But you still participate locally in local orchestras. Used to be with Anne Easter, but we still see you around, Walter. Nice to see you and welcome here. And Graham Marsden, who in retirement has managed to fit in being a very successful and popular mayor of Eastbourne, as well as being a master golfer. And another very good friend of the association is John Morris, who had the unenviable task of taking over as headmaster from Rex Shaw. John, we are it's a night as well. I'm getting young. We are glad you did not heed the warning of the Roman philosopher Seneca, who wrote in AD 64. It is when the gods hate a man with uncommon abhorrence that they drive him into the profession of schoolmaster. While on the subject of masters, George Henshaw, that feisty Lancastrian, that's quoting the Sunday Times, wrote to me in 1996 after a luncheon, and he said, here is that peace will honour, peace in our time. It was amazing how many boys I taught were there, and the features remain the same. Brian York reminds me of Devonshire Park tennis, as does Jay Bishop, who reached the Wimbledon quarter-finals. D. Ashdown, again, reminded me of his glorious achievement of being the first Henshaw failure at O-level geography in my first 3 years. I gather he has had a few drinks over the years, even to him in celebration. As the BBC would say, in the interests of balance, I quote from Eversley Court Revisited by one Raymond Diancy. Sounds a posh grammar school name, doesn't it? He says here, I have now been profoundly deaf for almost 50 years. One of my most abiding memories is that of David Ashdown, a fellow pupil standing on the stage of the school hall at one of the above concerts and playing The Holy City on the French horn. I can still hear it even now, with its mellow, slightly hollow tone and its lovely melody, and it has long been a lasting and precious memory to carry with me from the world of music which I am no longer able to hear. On balance. Well done, David. I think that the privilege of dining at Oxbridge College is one of the most great experiences in life. Thanks to the Cambridge and Oxford Eastbourne Grammarian Society, I have been able to do so on several occasions, only because in recent years it has been opened up to students like me, who spent their time on the sports field at Saffrons and Hampden Park rather than in the library. Thanks to huge efforts on behalf of the Secretary, Dr. Chris Joyce, and my friend Professor Howard Kirby, Professor Chris Bounds, and Ray Wells indeed, who wouldn't sit down today, have masterminded the society and into a renaissance. And yes, if I can go, so can all of you. You're all welcome. The dinners are superb. It's a lovely occasion in Oxford or Cambridge College. Wonderful experience. Thank you, folks. The school has educated many service personnel, the most notorious being the fictional Captain Mannering from Dad's Army, series episode 37, where the school was featured, and I recall that his unseen wife Elizabeth was very scathing about him. And so was Wilson, Sergeant Wilson, of course, because he went to public school. My school days were filled with military, daring do, POWs, adventures, senior British officers, escape committees, and all that sort of thing, wooden horse. And over the years, I've launched tremendous support from the military service, especially Mark Rayner, now retired, after a highly successful army career, and who was then often our senior British officer. And incidentally, his son Ollie is a successful county cricketer with Sussex and latterly Middlesex. And of course, Martin Thomas. But tonight, folks, I'm afraid that Brother Tony is a senior British officer of our escape committee. The school set standards we carried through into our lives, as my golfing partner Colin Humphrey never fails to remind me when we see some poor behaviour. Incidentally, last Thursday, 4 pars on the trot was outrageous. Colin, this reminds me of a dialogue that went something like this. Have you ever thought that your standards may be a little out of date? To which the reply was, of course they're out of date. Standards are always out of date. That's what makes them standards. I am hugely proud to attend Eastbourne Grammar School and honoured to be its president in the Centenary year. This toast should have been proposed by the late Dennis Minns, and I do so hope he's looking down at us and saying, it's okay. And I now ask you to be upstanding and propose a toast to our guests, and I think I'll add absent friends.